Success is often misunderstood as wealth, status, or power, but true success is a deeper harmony, a life lived fully and consciously. Today, we explore how to align your mind, heart, and actions to achieve real success, guided by the timeless wisdom of Alan Watts. To truly understand success, we must first turn our gaze inward. Most people spend their lives chasing ideas of achievement handed down by society, wealth, status, power. Yet, if we are not aware of our own minds, our desires, and our deepest motivations, these pursuits often lead only to emptiness. Alan Watts would say that to live without understanding oneself is like sailing a vast ocean without a compass. One may move, one may strive, but there is no real direction. Self-awareness is the foundation of every meaningful achievement. It is not merely thinking about what you want, but observing yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, and your habits without judgment. It is noticing the impulses that drive you, the fears that hold you back, and the illusions that shape your decisions. Many people are unaware of how their minds are influenced by external expectations, social pressures, and cultural norms. They act according to what they should do rather than what they genuinely value. And in this lack of alignment, even success feels hollow. When you cultivate self-awareness, you begin to discern between the superficial and the essential. You recognize which desires are authentic and which are imposed upon you. This clarity allows you to choose goals that resonate with your inner self rather than conforming to someone else's definition of success. It is in this alignment that action becomes meaningful, effort becomes joyful,
achievement becomes fulfilling.
Moreover, self-awareness fosters resilience. Life is unpredictable, and the path to success is rarely linear. When you know yourself, you can navigate challenges with wisdom rather than panic. You understand your strengths and weaknesses, allowing you to capitalize on your abilities while seeking support where needed. You are less likely to be derailed by criticism, setbacks, or the shifting tides of circumstance. Alan Watts often emphasized the importance of presence, being fully conscious of each moment. Self-awareness is the first step toward this presence. When you are aware of your mind and your actions, you live intentionally. Your decisions are not automatic responses, but conscious choices that reflect who you are and what you truly value. Success, therefore, is not merely achieving external markers, but living in harmony with your own nature. Take a moment now to reflect. Are your actions truly aligned with your inner self? Are the goals you pursue genuinely yours, or are they borrowed from others? By asking these questions and observing your responses, you begin a journey toward authentic success. I'd love to hear from you. What is one truth about yourself you've discovered through self-reflection that has changed the way you pursue success? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's start a conversation about living consciously and achieving fulfillment on your own terms. Many people live their lives chasing the destination, as if success is a place to arrive at rather than a way of moving through life. They imagine that one day, when they have reached a certain goal, they will finally feel fulfilled. Yet Alan Watts reminds us that life is not a series of checkboxes or milestones. It is a continuous flowing process. The paradox is that by fixating only on the end result, we often miss the richness of the present moment, the very moments in which life is actually happening. Consider this. When you are walking toward a distant mountain peak, you may be so focused on reaching the summit that you fail to notice the beauty of the path itself, the sunlight filtering through the trees, the sound of the wind, the rhythm of your own breath. The journey contains lessons, growth, and joy that cannot be found solely at the destination. Success is not merely a point in the future, it is the conscious engagement with the process of becoming. Focusing on the journey means immersing yourself fully in each step, each action, and each decision. It means treating learning, effort, and personal growth as rewards in themselves. When you act with presence and intention, your work is enriched with meaning, and even challenges become opportunities for discovery. Those who obsess over outcomes are often blinded by anxiety or impatience. They may reach their goals, but without savoring the process, the victory can feel hollow. Alan Watts often spoke of life as a dance or a game, rather than a battle to be won. To be successful in this sense is to participate fully, to be alive in each moment, and to embrace both effort and play. By enjoying the process, you cultivate mastery naturally, because your attention is present, your energy is sustained, and your curiosity remains alive. Success, then, becomes not a distant objective, but a natural byproduct of engaged, conscious living. Furthermore, focusing on the journey nurtures resilience. Life is unpredictable. Obstacles and setbacks are inevitable. When your satisfaction is tied solely to the outcome, challenges can feel devastating. But when your fulfillment is rooted in the process, you find joy even amid struggle. Each difficulty becomes a teacher, each effort a step toward growth, and each moment a microcosm of achievement. Take a moment now to reflect. Are you living as if the end goal is all that matters, or are you present to the experiences and lessons along the way? The journey itself is your education, your growth, and your true success. I want to hear from you. What is one way you've learned to enjoy the journey rather than obsessing over the outcome? Share your insights in the comments below, and let's inspire each other to live fully and embrace every step of our path. Most people fear failure as if it is a dark force that must be avoided at all costs. They believe that success is a straight path, free of missteps, errors, or misjudgments. Yet Alan Watts teaches us a deeper truth. Failure is not the enemy of success, but an essential companion to it. To live fully, to achieve meaning, and to grow, we must understand that life is a process of trial, learning, and adaptation. Every failure is a lesson, every setback a mirror reflecting our need for growth, and every mistake a doorway to wisdom. Consider how nature itself thrives through a cycle of trial and error. Trees stretch toward the sunlight, only to be bent or broken by storms, yet they continue growing, adapting, and flourishing. Rivers carve valleys through obstacles, not by avoiding resistance, but by flowing persistently through it. Life is no different. Every failed attempt, every mistake in judgment, and every encounter with adversity teaches us something that cannot be learned from comfort or certainty alone. When you embrace failure as part of your journey, you free yourself from the paralyzing fear that often prevents action. You realize that mistakes are not proof of inadequacy, but evidence of engagement and effort. Alan Watts reminds us that life is more like a dance than a rigid ladder to climb. Missteps are part of the rhythm, part of the beauty, and part of the learning. To succeed, therefore, is not to avoid falling, but to rise each time wiser and more capable. Furthermore, embracing failure cultivates humility. When you accept that you do not control every outcome, that your understanding is always limited, you open yourself to curiosity, exploration, and experimentation. You begin to see that life is less about reaching perfection and more about being present in the unfolding process. True success is a combination of courage, resilience, and adaptability, qualities that only emerge when you allow yourself to stumble and recover. It is also important to recognize that failure is not personal. Society often labels mistakes as shameful, but Alan Watts teaches that life is a flow, and mistakes are simply part of that flow. By separating your self-worth from your outcomes, you can navigate challenges with equanimity, learning from each experience without judgment or self-recrimination. Take a moment now to reflect. Are you afraid to fail, or do you see each setback as a stepping stone toward growth? The next time life presents a challenge, pause and ask yourself what lesson it carries and how it might guide you closer to your authentic self and true success. I'd love to hear from you. What is one failure that ultimately taught you something invaluable about yourself or your path? Share your story in the comments below, and let's create a space where we celebrate growth, learning, and resilience together. In our modern world, many people measure their worth by the applause, approval, or recognition of others. We look to social media likes, promotions at work, or compliments from friends as a mirror for our own self-esteem. Alan Watts reminds us that this pursuit of external validation is a trap. It places our sense of self in the hands of forces beyond our control. True success, he teaches, arises not from the opinions of others, but from living authentically and cultivating inner alignment with our own values and purpose. When we depend on external validation, we risk losing touch with our inner guidance. Decisions become driven by fear, of judgment, rather than by genuine curiosity, passion, or intuition. We may chase achievements that look impressive to others, yet feel hollow or meaningless to us. The paradox is that the more we try to please others, the more distant we become from our authentic self. The freedom to act according to our true nature is what allows creativity, joy, and genuine confidence to flourish. Detachment from external validation does not mean isolation or disregard for others. Rather, it is a mindful choice to anchor our self-worth internally. Imagine a tree rooted firmly in the ground. It sways with the wind, yes, but its strength comes from its own roots, not the approval of the surrounding forest. Similarly, when your sense of self is rooted internally, you can navigate life with a calm presence, resilient to criticism, envy, or praise alike. Alan Watts often spoke of the idea that life is a dance, not a contest. When we focus on being true to ourselves rather than performing for others, life becomes a fluid experience, rich with authenticity and spontaneity. Each action is infused with purpose rather than anxiety or pretense. This detachment fosters clarity. Decisions are guided by what truly matters, rather than by societal expectations or fleeting trends. Moreover, freeing yourself from external validation cultivates courage. You begin to take risks, explore new paths, and express ideas that might have once felt too vulnerable or controversial. Success in this context is no longer a trophy awarded by others. It is the personal satisfaction of living fully, of aligning your actions with your own values and integrity. Life becomes a creation rather than a performance. Take a moment now to reflect. Are your choices motivated by your own inner compass or by the approval of others? Detach from the judgment and notice the freedom that emerges when your self-worth comes from within, not from the fluctuating opinions of the world. I want to hear from you. What is one area of your life where you can stop seeking approval from others and start following your own inner guidance? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's inspire each other to live authentically and courageously. So often we live our lives as if the past or future were more important than the present. We dwell on regrets, replay mistakes, or worry endlessly about what might come. Alan Watts teaches that this constant preoccupation is the source of much of our dissatisfaction. Life, in its most authentic form, unfolds only in the present moment. To truly succeed, to truly experience joy, and to cultivate a meaningful existence, we must immerse ourselves fully in the now. When we focus on the present, we become aware of the subtle richness of life that is otherwise overlooked. A morning walk, the sound of birds, the warmth of the sun on our skin, these small moments, when fully observed, reveal an intricate tapestry of beauty and complexity that is always accessible. Watts often emphasized that the present is not merely a fleeting point between past and future, but the space where life itself exists. The past is memory, the future is imagination, but the present is where action, perception, and genuine experience occur. By grounding ourselves in the present, we free ourselves from the paralysis of overthinking. Decisions become clearer, actions more decisive, and interactions more authentic. When your attention is scattered across what was and what might be, you risk missing the opportunities, insights, and connections available right now. Success is less about predicting the perfect outcome and more about responding fully and skillfully to the current moment. Moreover, focusing on the present cultivates mindfulness, patience, and gratitude. We begin to notice the intricate patterns of life and our role within them. Even challenges become manageable when seen one step at a time. Instead of being overwhelmed by the enormity of a distant goal, we attend to what we can do in this moment, what small, meaningful action we can take right now. Watts reminds us that life is not a race toward some imagined finish line. It is a flowing process, a dance, and the beauty of the dance exists in each movement, in each step, in each breath. When we are fully present, we also deepen our relationships. Listening, observing, and engaging without distraction allows us to connect with others on a profound level. Love, friendship, and trust flourish in the fertile ground of attention. This is a form of success that cannot be measured by wealth, status, or accolades. It is the success of truly experiencing life, moment by moment. Take a moment now to reflect. How often do you allow yourself to be fully present? How much of your energy is spent on what was or what might be rather than what is? Try bringing your attention entirely to this instant, the sensations, thoughts, and emotions, and notice the clarity and peace that arise. I'd love to hear from you. What is one simple practice you can use to anchor yourself in the present moment? Share your experiences in the comments below. And let's explore together the profound power of living fully in the now. One of the most profound lessons Alan Watts imparts is the understanding that life is inherently uncertain. The world around us is in constant flux. People change, circumstances shift, and what seems stable today may be gone tomorrow. Yet, so often, we cling desperately to security, to predictability, and to control. We resist the natural flow of change, believing that stability equals happiness and certainty equals safety. In reality, it is our fear of the unknown that limits growth, creativity, and true fulfillment. To embrace uncertainty is not to invite chaos, but to acknowledge life as it truly is, dynamic, fluid, and unpredictable. By letting go of the illusion that we can control every outcome, we free ourselves from anxiety and disappointment. Watts often compared life to a river. Resisting its flow leads to suffering, while surrendering to the current allows one to move with grace, discovering unexpected beauty along the way. The wise do not fear the unknown. They see it as a playground for learning, transformation, and opportunity. Change, similarly, is not our enemy. Every shift in life, whether in relationships, careers, or personal circumstances, offers the chance to grow, to shed outdated habits, and to realign with our true purpose. The secret to being successful, Watts teaches, is not to resist change, but to dance with it, to adapt, and to explore the possibilities it presents. It is often in moments of upheaval that the greatest insights emerge, revealing hidden strengths and new directions we never imagined. Furthermore, embracing uncertainty cultivates courage. When we stop clinging to the illusion of control, we open ourselves to new experiences, new relationships, and novel ways of thinking. We become more resilient, more creative, and more attuned to the flow of life. Watts reminds us that the universe does not conspire against us. Rather, it offers an infinite array of possibilities for those willing to navigate the unknown with curiosity and openness. Take a moment now to reflect. How often do you resist change, trying to hold on to what feels familiar, safe, or predictable? What would it feel like to step into the unknown with trust, allowing life to unfold in its own mysterious way? The power to thrive lies not in certainty, but in our ability to embrace uncertainty with equanimity and openness. I'd love to hear from you. What is one change in your life that you've been resisting? And how might you begin to embrace it with curiosity instead of fear? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's explore together the transformative power of uncertainty and change. In a world that often equates success with wealth, status, or material accumulation, Alan Watts reminds us of profound truth. The richness of life is found not in what we own, but in what we experience. We may fill our homes with objects, our schedules with tasks, and our minds with worries about what we lack, yet still feel an emptiness that no possession can fill. True fulfillment arises when we prioritize living fully, embracing each moment, and seeking experiences that nourish our spirit and expand our understanding of the world. Consider this: a luxurious car, a grand house, or an expensive gadget may bring a fleeting sense of satisfaction, but it cannot create lasting joy or meaning. Experiences, on the other hand, traveling to a new place, sharing a heartfelt conversation, immersing oneself in nature, or learning a new skill leave a lasting imprint on our memory and soul. Watts often spoke of life as a dance or a musical composition. It is the act of engaging, moving, and participating that brings beauty, not the accumulation of objects to impress others. Valuing experiences over possessions also reshapes our approach to relationships. We invest more deeply in moments of connection, in shared adventures, and in understanding one another. Love, friendship, and community thrive in the space of shared experience, not in the transactions of ownership. By focusing on doing rather than having, we cultivate a life rich in memories, lessons, and personal growth. Furthermore, when we embrace experiences as our priority, we become more present. Ownership encourages attachment to the past or fear of losing what we have, while experiences demand our on in the moment. Each encounter, each journey, and each new challenge asks for our full presence, allowing us to taste life in its fullest intensity. Watts reminds us that existence is not a rehearsal. There are no do-overs. The present, the lived experience, is the ultimate gift. It is also liberating. When we release the obsession with material accumulation, we shed the burden of comparison, competition, and societal expectation. Life becomes a canvas for exploration rather than a checklist of achievements. We learn to find contentment and wonder in the simple act of being alive, noticing the subtle, often overlooked joys of daily life. Take a moment now to reflect. How often do you prioritize things over moments? How might your life change if you placed experiences, learning, and connection above material possessions? The richness of life is waiting to be discovered in every encounter, adventure, and act of presence. I'd love to hear from you. What is one experience that has brought you more joy than any material possession ever could? Share your stories in the comments below, and let's explore together the transformative power of valuing experiences over things. Perhaps the most profound lesson Alan Watts offers is the understanding that true success, fulfillment, and peace arise when we live in harmony with our authentic self. Society, culture, and expectation constantly whisper in our ears, urging us to conform, to measure our worth against external standards, and to chase achievements that may not align with our inner nature. We are often pulled in many directions, toward what others value, toward what seems practical, toward what appears prestigious. Yet these paths can lead us away from the essence of who we truly are. Living in harmony with your true self means first recognizing who you are beneath the roles, labels, and masks that life has encouraged you to wear. It is about discovering your values, your passions, your fears, and your innate inclinations, and then allowing them to guide your choices. Watts reminds us that life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. To experience it fully, we must honor our inner nature rather than constantly bending to external pressures. This harmony is not achieved through stubbornness or defiance, but through awareness and acceptance. It requires courage to confront your own truths, to face the parts of yourself you may have ignored or suppressed, and to cultivate a life that reflects your authentic desires rather than borrowed ones. When we live authentically, our actions, words, and decisions resonate with a coherence that naturally attracts success, meaningful relationships, and inner peace. Living in alignment with your true self also dissolves the unnecessary tension between what you do and who you are. Instead of chasing an ideal defined by society, you flow with your personal rhythm, allowing your creativity, energy, and focus to align with what truly matters to you. In this state, life feels effortless, not because challenges vanish, but because you are no longer struggling against your own nature. Watts often likened this to music. When you play in harmony with the notes, there is beauty. When you fight the rhythm, there is only dissonance. Moreover, embracing your true self invites others to experience you genuinely. Relationships deepen, collaborations flourish, and your impact on the world becomes more profound. There is a magnetic quality to authenticity. It resonates because it mirrors the truth of life itself, a life that is uncontrived, flowing, and fully present. Take a moment now to reflect. Are you living in accordance with your authentic self, or are you living to meet expectations that aren't yours? How might your life change if every desire, every action, and every relationship aligned with the deepest truth of who you are. True harmony, Watts teaches, is the path to genuine fulfillment. I'd love to hear from you. What is one step you can take today to live more authentically and align with your true self? Share your insights in the comments below, and let's inspire each other to embrace the path of genuine harmony and fulfillment.